Welcome to the Final Mile, XOI's podcast about trades, technology, and how XOI supercharges field service businesses to help deliver that final mile of service. We do this through collecting data and insights through a technician-focused technology. Say that 3 times fast. My name is JP Cahalan, been with XOI Technologies for about 10 years. I am joined by one of my favorite people in the industry, Mr. Rob Winstel, the VP of Operations at Perfection Group out of Ohio. Rob, how are you doing, sir?
Doing great. Thank you for having me.
Hey, man, thank you for being here. First things first, to kind of set everything in its place as we start talking, I'd love for you to kind of introduce yourself and Perfection Group, you know, where you guys are, what you guys focus on, what you guys do, how long you've been in the industry, kind of all the nitty-gritty details like that.
Well, great. Perfection Group's been around for about 75 years right now. Just celebrated that mega anniversary there. And we've always been trying to innovate a little bit in how we take care of our customers and plan. That's one of the things that's kept me at Perfection Group for over 30 years at this point. So
that's awesome, man.
A great company to be with, and they've been excellent at just looking at better ways to service our customers and our team.
Oh, fantastic. You guys are primarily focused in commercial, right?
Absolutely. We're commercial industrial.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Good deal, man. Well, good deal. Well, before we get into it, and today we're going to be talking about we're going to focus on kind of capital planning, how that's evolved over like the last decade or so. But just for people who may have stumbled across this podcast and saying, all right, what the heck is this? Just a little level set for you guys out there. XOI is a cloud-based system. We have a mobile application that gets used by field service technicians, HVAC, plumbing, and electrical. One of the things inside of our application that really allows for efficiency and effectiveness for techs is the journeyman platform. So this means when a tech is in the field using XOI, they'll take a picture of a data plate. We actually leverage optical character recognition to read the make, model, and serial. We also decode the manufacturing year, which is a super valuable piece. And once we do all this, we actually in the app throw everything in the kitchen sink that we can at the tech. So past history based on serial number, model number, PDF resources, video resources, we launch all that at the tech in the application. But the other thing that we do is we take that make, model, serial, and manufacturing year, and we push that into the platform accessible for the office staff for what we call insights, where we are identifying end-of-life opportunities based on that manufacturing year. And we are surfacing that data to the team for actionable conversations, meaningful dialogue, and better, let's call it, approaches to capital planning for customers. Now, Rob and his team have been using the Journeyman platform, and in particular insights, for a majority of this year. And so, Rob, before we even start talking about kind of what XOI's done on that side, as you think about capital planning, has it always been such a big proponent of the contractor and customer relationship, or you think it's evolved over the last 10, 15 years?
Well, I definitely think it's something that's evolved. We began what we called an asset condition program, where we would go out and we'd acquire a new customer and go out and survey their equipment and write down model numbers and serial numbers, and hopefully they got entered into the system correctly. Look up and see the age and get all the information on it manually. And that was something that we began, I would say, about 10 to 12 years ago. And with moderate success, simply because of the time it takes to do that, to have a person go out there, then to research and do all that was extraordinary. But we had some success with it with our customers, and being able to say, hey, Mr. Customer, look, your units are aging. You have X units that are over 15 years old. Probably time to start looking into planning on how you're going to do this and then how best to accompany that. So it's been something that we've been doing, but there have been difficulties to it. And this is one of the things that's helped us.
Yeah. Everybody I talk to, and it sounds like the same for you, it's like it's always felt like this manual effort, and it's usually kind of targeted towards the back end of the year. It's like, hey, as we get into kind of the shoulder season, people are getting their budgets ready. That's when it's traditionally been kind of focused on. As you guys, and you mentioned it a little bit, it's like, hey, it's manual. We're going out, we're gathering it, we're writing it down. As you kind of look at the data you had, let's call it 8 years ago, even this time last year, versus the data that your technicians through one picture are surfacing, is there just a stark difference from your team where it's like, hey, we're fishing in this fully stocked pond? This is amazing. Like, what's that feel like?
It is incredible what this does for you. The first thing we note is the ease of obtaining the data. That basically we can go in and sort however we wish and find out what age criteria we want to use and all this information for this particular customer or everyone or, a particular manufacturer. So many different ways we can look at it. There's also, it's accurate. I talked about the accuracy before, but you send a guy out like me to go out and take this information down. I write it down. Oh, there's spilled coffee on it. Was that an O or a zero, a 5 or an S? What do we really have here? And then we have to know all of, carrier, Yorks, trains, what do their numbers mean? What those model numbers, they tell you what's the tonnage, the serial number, where's the actual age in it. This does it all for us. I mean, that information is just sitting right there along with a service history of it. And it just makes it an absolute no-brainer and so easy to work with and take to the customer.
Do you think, and this is kind of taking us in a different direction, when you guys kind of looked at this, let's go back to the manual world of 15 years ago. Did you guys dedicate, whether it was kind of a maintenance sales rep or somebody on the sales or account side, to kind of go out and try and gather this? Or was it solely like, as technicians are running calls, we want them writing this down to get it to the system, but their focus and their efforts are in serving the customer? So that's what kind of maybe led to some inaccuracies or not complete data sets?
Yeah, we looked at a couple different ways. We went from having technicians do it while they're on PMs, to try and gather that information while they're doing the first PM. And like you say, where's their focus on that? Is it hitting the, are they going out and doing an effective PM, or are they searching for this data? We've tried it with maintenance reps, and you get various skill levels of technical expertise through that. It really was kind of hit and miss there as to where we got it. So it was a tough one to figure out there. That was probably one of the bigger obstacles.
Yeah. And that's, I think a lot of people, and that's what I love about technology. It's not that we're trying to completely overhaul things, but it's, can I allow technology to allow somebody to do something easier and in less time and allow it to be more accurate and efficient? And that's kind of one of the things that I kind of look at that I'd love to talk to you about. Knowing this data is accurate, knowing it's so easily gathered, has having this access changed your guys' approach to capital planning? Has it created new processes or allowed you guys to change what you had previously done? Because this is, to your point, it's like, hey, we can filter by these criteria and then we can do this. Has it created any of that internally within Perfection?
Absolutely. It's changed us. We're still going through those changes with it, that we've actually focused a marketing program surrounding this product, the Insights product, where we take this information and our approach and how we go to the customer with it on plan basis, by division of what city we're in. And we simply take all the data we have, whittle it down and then distribute it in a marketing program that we're actually sending out to customers. Don't want to give away too much top secret information there, but it's been really incredible. That's changed. It's gone from an operations function to a marketing function with very seamlessly, that we've been able to take this to the customer.
That is super interesting. Yeah, it's funny how when you do things like this, and it's a tool that, again, built for the technician, but it starts to blur the lines of the departments it impacts. I mean, I can tell you, as we sit on the XOI side, we love hearing things like that. What have your customers, have you had a chance? I know you guys have been, haven't been doing this forever, but have you had a chance to speak with them about this? And like, what do they say when they get kind of these updates from you? Is there anything in particular they're saying, or just like, well, we didn't know this existed?
Well, the entire XOI product line, they've been just, infatuated with, really. Our customers are being more demanding of it. They really like this technology, but from the being able to bring them, here are these units that are exceeding their useful life expectations. They've been absolutely thrilled with that. We actually had one customer talk to another customer, which created an urgency to get their data to them, because we've been trying to put it out in smaller increments. It's been very well received by them. They seem to want more and more and more of this type of stuff. Okay, well, what do I have then coming? What if we reduce this number that you said 15 here? Why don't we start looking at 12 and 13 to give us a more accurate 5-year to 10-year plan?
Yeah, I think that's interesting. I think for groups like you that are using it this way, I think and I'm not saying you guys were ever this, it's taking you from, hey, this is a traditional field service contractor's operation with a customer, to now you are kind of a solution and a consultant to them and saying, hey, we got all this. We know you need it. Here's what it means. Here's what you need to prepare for. Here's your exposure, which is, I think with the world going so data driven, I think that's what you guys are delivering.
You become more of an advisor, I think, with this type of product.
That's awesome. That's so awesome, man. That is great to hear. Has anything come out of this that you did not expect? And not just, I know that's a very driven in question, not just the Insights platform, but let's go kind of your use of XOI as a whole. Has there been something that you were like, yeah, I didn't see that coming, and it's a happy accident?
There was one story about a customer down in one of our southern regions, and we have been trying since I was the general manager down there, which was like 14 years ago. And we've been trying to get this customer, and they wouldn't even really talk to us. And finally, we said, hey, we got some new products, new things we're doing. Let us try a couple service calls for you. The technician went, did a great job for us, and did a great workflow on the XOI platform, which came along with his call summary report. He got all that, clicked on it, and called the next day and said, get me a contract. I didn't see it
Really?
that powerful, yes. And
Wow,
this
I did not.
For quite a while. It was really, really fascinating.
That's an awesome story. I did not know that story. That has been kept behind the curtain in my world of XOI.
Uh-oh.
That's fantastic, man. There we go. I'm gonna talk to some people after this.
There you go.
That is super cool to hear. I got one final question for you. I'm always trying to think outside the box when they let me kind of run around in the wide open. With kind of what this data does for you. Get XOI out of your mind. I don't want this all about XOI. Where do you think the industry is going to go when we can start allowing a technician to do one simple action and surface all this data? In your mind, what's next? And I know that's a big question, but like, where would you like to see the next big thing?
Wow, that is an incredibly tough question. When I look at this, I see where this has all come just in the last few years with the data. You might have me on that one. So many different things. I never really envisioned the whole journeyman platform at first, and then seeing it, it's really neat. I would like to see for this to tie into some CRM or proposal or estimation type systems in some way, shape, or form, to maybe automate across different platforms for us. And I know that's a giant stretch because of how programs talk, but seeing more modernization there in this industry. HVAC has typically been a little behind the times in modernization of technology, and to see these things incorporate and in more of that fashion, I could see that really being a benefit.
So almost creating, I know it's never gonna be this, but almost a one-stop shop. Where it's like you're doing it here and it's going here and touching here and pushing here. No, I'm with you on that. I think that we live in this world where everything is just at our fingertips and on our hands, and we want ease and ease and ease. I think what some of the best platforms out there have done is they've said, all right, we're going to do the best to tie into the other things, but we're going to focus here. It's kind of like you guys. You guys are great at what you do. If you guys went out and started, servicing generators on boats, the laser focus may not be what it is for perfection. You know what I mean? So now I can agree with you on that one. I think getting to a place like that, and just my 2 cents, I think us getting to a place where, you guys got what, 8 locations? Is that right? 7, 8 locations? So getting to a point where we're asking granular questions of technicians, and then allowing those things to be collected and trended for perfection, and saying, hey, no matter where you are, a perfection technician, when they're servicing this piece of equipment, this is happening X% of the time. Like that type of stuff I see would be, hey, if we can make it simple, we serve it back down. Now we're taking things to a whole new level, not just for the customer in the office, but that technician in front of that box. Hey, beware of this, because this happens X% of the time with this condition, or X% of the time with this condition. I think that would be a nice world to get to as well.
That would be
Maybe
awesome.
I'm selfish. Maybe I'm selfish because I come from the field. I don't know.
That's where I started.
Oh, Rob. Hey, man, I think that's the place to be, if you ask me. So, Rob, thank you so much. I really appreciate you kind of sitting down and talking to us about what you guys are doing, how you guys use XOI, but most importantly, letting us peek behind the curtain for perfection and see, again, not focused on XOI, how you guys are being so innovative with the tools that you use day in, day out. So thank you so much. I know we appreciate you, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day.
Thank you. And you do the same.